To all my human family that is watching this, I want to offer a little bit of remembrance of who we truly are and realize that in that recognition, we can dispel the fiction and the false timelines that we have been told. The propaganda of fear and lack is no longer sold to us. We no longer buy into that narrative as we realize that we are all part of something bigger, an awakening in which all of us have a part to play, and a lamp that is put on a lampstand can reach a larger multitude of people that are thirsty for that same water that was given before from the Father and from the Mother. We discover that we are that same child, the divine child that is uncovered in the recognition of our true nature beyond any of the projections, labels, programs that were ever placed onto us. I want to offer a remembrance, a memory that was lost of our true nature and our DNA, and realize that not only is this a conceptual framework that can be grounded in our bodies, but it is also a way of life, of living in right relation with all of creation, including the birds and the bees and the trees and everything around us. We start to see that I is we, and the realization that self and other, sister and brother, masculine and feminine, the consciousness of earth and heaven can be constellated and reconciled in the realization of what it is to be a human being. A human being is far more than we ever were told, and for that reason I reject that bill of goods that was sold, that was told to me that I was nothing more than a cog in a machine. I say I take back today that this is my lucid dream, and if I could offer anything of value, I would say this, that all of us are dreamers, and this world that we perceive as so material and so physical is on a spectrum of mind and matter, where the mind influences the matter, and we can see that it is the matter that is the mother and the divine spark of the spirit that is the father, and in the conjunction of the two we discover what is truly who we are. And for that reason I want to say this, that we are all stars in a constellation, and it is a recognition both humble and grandiose, the reconciliation of both the power of our true nature to perform miracles far greater than Yeshua or Jesus, the masters that have come before us have told us we can do more. And it is only in the realization of our original nature, before anything was projected onto us, before we were adulterated, before we became adults, we were children. And in that recognition, we see that the kingdom of heaven was our true inheritance, the opportunity to be free, abundant, live without fear or lack. These programs I reject in full sincerity and humility. I say this, that everyone watching this can come to that same realization and change this situation through the power of their mind and their attention, to reclaim our attention and our energy and say, I reject the wide path that leads to the wailing and gnashing of teeth, and I focus my attention on myself, and I focus my gaze inward on the straight and narrow. Like an arrow, I send that love straight within to the kingdom of heaven, and the door will open for those who seek it earnestly. And for whoever is watching this, whoever is seeking in their lives and realizing that this time has been filled with chaos and meaninglessness, this nihilism that has been sold to us is not something we have to accept. This life is not a material fixed reality. This is something that is so malleable with the power of our own minds. Our faith moves mountains, and not as metaphor, not as parable, but as a literal truth. I want to tell you that all of the miracles ever performed in these stories were true. And in that realization, something can shift. A shift from the ordinary into the extraordinary, from the levels of just a mythology that is perceived as a story to a living truth and a living word that is now made flesh again in these times, where all of us can align with the divine inside and claim our inheritance of the kingdom of heaven, not as a concept, but as a lived reality that is grounded in our physiology, that is grounded in the awareness of the subtle energy fields, the nadis, the meridians, the same knowledge that was ancient, so far back that it was forgotten. There is a memory in our DNA that doesn't require books, that doesn't require study, but requires an earnest, sincere desire to awaken the fire that is within us. That is the original flame, and it is the original name that can't be spoken, the original face that was who we were before we were born. And that's what I am here to say in these videos and in this project, is the remembrance of the true nature of a human being. And in doing so, not only is it an individual, but a constellation of individuals that are anchoring that frequency of certainty that allows this movement of nihilism or meaninglessness to be moved back towards a divine order of right relation between earth and heaven, between self and other, between sisters and brothers. We can restore an original design for the sanctity and sacredness of not only our energy, but our sexuality, our spirituality. All levels of reality can be aligned within a system that has always been our true inheritance, to live abundantly, to live in peace with each other, in harmony. These are no longer ideas that are just a lofty goal. These are things that in this very moment we can anchor as our prayer and as a family, because it is truly with all of us as a critical mass, we can truly turn the tides of history and change the way in which the lies had so much power over us. We reject that and we reclaim our true nature. We rebuke any narrative that was told of our weakness, of our lack of ability. And in doing so, we restore the Trinity, the Mother, the Father, the Child, and we realize we are the divine children. And in doing so, we return to the original blueprint. And if I could say anything else to anyone watching, it would just be this: remember your value, remember who you truly are, and awaken.